I realized as of recent that a lot of this shit is not normal. And I didn't know how to process that experience. I hate being famous. It sucks. I love connecting with people in the crowd when I feel like it's really me and you right now. And I go eye to eye with so many people during this show. And it's something about tour that makes the love real. Hi.
I'm so glad to see you.
Thank you. I'm glad to see you too. Thank you for even wanting to see me.
Are you kidding me? I've been waiting to have this conversation for 7 years. I'm so happy it's now.
Thank you.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm nervous.
Same.
Oh, really? Why?
Because
no, you're not.
Because it's fun. It's supposed to be.
I was a wee lad.
So grateful you took the time to talk with me today in New York and allowed us to sort of come here as a company.
Wait, the interview is starting.
I'm just so grateful that we're all here and we got a chance to capture the show, because this SOS tour is life-changing, not just for you, but for your fans and everyone who's seen it. It's just such a level up. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And being able to capture it at Apple is so special. Thank you again. Because you just put so much heart and soul into everything that you do. Is flow state, is that the goal on stage?
Literally. If I'm hyper cognizant of where I am, it's a bad show.
Does it happen?
Sometimes, when I remember where I'm at, or if I'm actively fighting, if I'm sick. Night one in New York, I was sicker than I am now.
I don't know how you pulled it off on night one at all. I mean, I know you had to postpone a show. Every artist who makes a certain amount of their life, if not their life, a part of performing and delivering and sharing that moment is going to have that experience.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? And they take that experience for granted from the artist's point of view because we've got the ticket and we're so excited and we've been looking forward to it for so long, but it's tough on you.
No, I feel really guilty, canceling shows or moving anything. It's definitely something that I hate to do. We canceled just one so far. I think on this entire SOS run, prior to yesterday's, that one show, we've only canceled one show.
Yeah, and you've been on the road for nearly 10 months, on and off, but pretty consistently. I mean, it's crazy.
And yeah, we take a 2 months off, 2 months on, and we go off.
And then you go back to February 21st, show number 1 in Ohio, and I don't know, you must recognize the growth from that first show right through to last night.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
No, genuinely, I've never played arenas before or any of that, and it was so impossible. It felt impossible to
Until it happened.
Yeah, no, it still felt impossible. While I was doing it, I was I wasn't in it. I was more so just being I have to do this thing that people are coming to watch me do. And it has to not suck because they're expecting me to not suck. But I wasn't actually fully in it as this is my show. It was weird. I don't know. I just got in it this run.
It was so fast though. The album came out. It's number 1. We all love it. We can now tell you how much we love it. So the information's right in front of you at all times, all days. That was amazing. And then it's go hit the road. And so I can imagine that that's probably the most intense short period of time you've had as a person, that moment then.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in the very I don't know where I'm at right now. But I also, I don't know how I feel about my album. Or maybe I just feel disconnected from it in general. That was more so a culmination of all these other years that I was ready to get off me and move forward from. So now that it's out and it's just another place, I don't want to look back there and I don't want to think about it. But that's how I'm with all my music. I never listened to Control again. I never thought about it again.
I always think it's the saddest thing. I've talked to artists about this my whole life, about that trade of you get the experience of making it, we get the experience of listening to it and absorbing it and making it a part of our life. But more often than not, you don't get to listen to it like we do.
I don't want to. Some people listen to their own music and it's very nerve-wracking for me and I can't enjoy anything. When I listen to everything, I'm always what mix is this? Why is this level wrong? Why is my voice so brassy? Why didn't I EQ it more? Why? Why? Why didn't I sing this differently? Why did I choose this word? That's not what I meant. So many things. And it doesn't matter how many years pass. If I play my music, I just can't. It's too hard. It's too hard to enjoy it. I don't know.
Execution is the hardest part of the process. I mean, the creating is like should come quite naturally to you, the desire to say something that you can't communicate in a normal environment. Like, okay, let me sing about it, let me write about it, let me create a sculpture or do some canvas work, whatever. But releasing it, I think that's heroic for anyone to do.
It's impossible. Not impossible, but I guess it takes a strange amount of delusion or confidence, or both. I have the delusion aspect.
Last night you had the confidence for sure. I feel like you were in your zone last night. The way you move in and out of that choreography, what you choose to. It's not like I have to hit my marks. It's like, I might hit that mark, or maybe I'll just jump up and down, have a great time and hit it later.
Yeah.
Like, that's so sick that you're in a situation in terms of on stage from February this year to now where it looks, at least to me, like that's comfortable for you.
Last night I was at war. That's different.
Huh, what does that mean?
Well, New York is not a welcoming crowd. Like, they're
Right.
very,
Traditionally.
yeah, super boring. In the realm of, like, I don't know what's going on, but they're very likely to deadpan you. Night one was, like, probably the worst crowd I've had thus far on this leg. And I was like, oh, my God. So night two, I was, like, at war in my body. It was like, okay, I'm not here to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm not here to, like, I'm here to prove a point. I'm here to, like, prove that.
Seek and Destroy, you came out, and I could tell in the first minute you did something in a move that was just so at the front row. I was like, this is gonna be a punk show.
I'm screaming. No, I was upset. Not upset, but it was
yeah.
more so like, it's just different. Like, sometimes adversity just turns me up in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, that's just always my igniting thing.
It's a strange limbo state going out and touring as well. I mean, I've experienced it to some degree, and all my friends who have done it will say the same thing, that all the time in between the shows, it's hard to know what you mean to people or what you mean to a crowd.
For sure.
It's just like, and then you're supposed to turn it on, and it's like, oh, I have to just be on for this crowd of people who have been in this room now for an hour waiting for me. It's a strange dynamic.
No, I don't mind that. Like, when the crowd is, like, turned up, even if I was in another space, it, like, snaps me into, like, reality. Because, like, the gratitude and, like, the pouring of, like, energy, and it just reminds you, like, it makes you laugh. And it's just like, oh, everything's, like, okay. Like, I'm be okay. And when they're more excited, it just makes me feel like I can't wait to just, like, give you everything that you want. Like, a show like Nashville, where their energy was crazy, and I was like, I'm going to crack off my neck for y'all, I promise.
Can we just then put one on the board for New York? Because I thought last night two was great. I mean, the crowd was super hyped during the DJ set. When you came on, it was like, mad.
The crowd on night two was better than night one.
For sure.
It was still lower energy than the rest of my day.
I'm just trying to put some goodwill in the bank, New York. I'm just trying to help you out right now.
But you know what? That's really, but I need that. Every artist needs that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, like, people are coming to like celebrate and be excited with you, but it's like, this is your opportunity to really share who you are with these people that are interested in who you are. Some of them don't even know for sure why they bought this ticket, or they may have seen you on TikTok or whatever, but it's like, this is the time to share who you are. And usually before a show, like, I'll pray and put an intention before, like, oh, tonight may I, like, inspire everyone to, like, or may I bring people joy. Tonight, Father God, may I be reminded why I'm doing this. Father God, may I be, like, moved. May I lighten somebody's day today. Those kind of things. Or, like, I try to just give it a purpose to give me a reason to, like, be in that moment.
Yeah.
So last night, I guess the reason I prayed with my mom, and she just, we prayed about just, like, may everybody be moved and touched and bring joy. Like, and, like, the light that you shine through everybody, and everybody feel like it's cool to shine their light, and just all those things. So I was like, okay, cool. And I felt, because of that prayer, I was, like, set to go on stage in a way that wasn't different. On top of that, in my mind, I was like, all right, they was playing with me last night. We're not playing tonight. We're gonna shine this light. We're gonna shine this light. But yeah, it was like, sometimes it's like a demand.
Yeah.
Like, night one, I felt I was so sick. I was so tired. But it's also like, I love a challenge. I think
about 2023 and what touring has meant to you, and I'd imagine in a way, I listen to a song like Open Arms, right? And actually to a lot of your music, I feel like you're always running from something or running to something. There's a real sense of kind of escape in what you're trying to achieve. I don't know what it is, but that's what I get out of it. I get a feeling out of that. And I can imagine that touring kind of probably helps you process things a bit, because you always get to split. It's on to the next one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I am a runner, like, in general. But it doesn't feel like it's hard to like just be present in general. Like it doesn't feel like, even when I'm singing my music, it's almost like I'm cosplaying myself. Like I'm cosplaying an artist, like what that would be like. And that makes it easier for me to like do the whole thing. Because in my mind, it's like, I don't know. It's so weird. I'm still figuring out like who I am and what is happening to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm becoming something in real time, and it's really confusing to me. Like even on the, like performing in an arena, what that actually means and how to like not let that energy command me and overtake me and shut me down, but then like really be present in the moment enough to talk to myself while I'm doing it, like to hear my inner voice. And it's really hard to feel that way. But it took me so long to even get to a space where I could hear anything else but chaos, where it was like, whoa, like left, right, the lights. I'm changing my outfit. Like, next song. I'm like molting in a weird way, or molting, whatever.
That's a really cool image though, the idea of just consistently shedding as you're moving forward. I think that's awesome. I've had to develop tools to try to slow down and be present and embrace the best things in my life as opposed to get preoccupied on all the challenges and the thrashy shit. Like, how are you actually exercising in that way, spiritually and mentally?
So I've been really trying to get my spiritual hygiene together because I realized as of recent that a lot of this shit is not normal. And I didn't know how to like, I don't know, like process that experience. And I was having like a lot of lashing out and like a lot of frustration, and there's a lot of opinions, a lot of entitlement to your space, a lot of entitlement to your time, a lot of expectation, and no one is understanding in the realm of being like, well, why, da da da, and da da da, you know, or if
I think that's pretty fear-based. I think that would put me in a state of fear.
It does, and it actually makes me on the edge and not a kind person, because the anxiety of wondering like how people are, there's so much perceiving going on, but these people don't know you. They're seeing you in a vacuum in your most high pressure moment, and it's like, it's scary. So it's like, oh my God, I'm not the person that I want to be right now, because like I'm not kind, calm, and like relaxed and patient and all these things. And it scared me, because I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, and then people are ingesting me in that state. But it's like, this is the first time that I've had, like I'm still the shy person from high school. I hate being perceived. I hate coming outside. I don't want to party. I don't want anybody to even look at me, honestly. I don't want to take pictures. I hate being on video. It's the bane of my existence. It makes me really, really uncomfortable to a way that like I cry. And, you know, I took a lot of calm gummies before I sat down here, but being perceived, especially visually, is like my number one, like, I'm uncomfortable right now kind of thing. And with this new level of like attention with the album, it's like, I never had an issue with paparazzi in my life. I never had an issue with, you know, going viral for like small things that I think are small in my life, or any of those things. So then I had to sit down and really be like, no, for real, get a process fast. And so I started praying a lot more. I restarted my my sadhana. My mom finished her sadhana with Sadhguru and like did all these like crazy programs, and she's just so much more peaceful. My mom's already peaceful, so saying that is like, I didn't think that she could be more peaceful than
and she travels with you all the time. So.
She travels often.
Yeah.
But her presence reminding me like, oh, I should probably go like do some ohms like in the back real quick, and like, or I should really take more magnesium, because my magnesium is hella depleted and like I need it to regulate my emotions and I'm not doing it. Or I should like take a fucking nap. Okay. Yeah. And it's small things that you don't, or I have 3 different kinds of therapists. Like I have a hypnotherapist, I have a talk therapist. And then, you know, they try to give me a psychiatrist, but I'm not taking any of those drugs. But he's like an emergency, like if I feel like at any point I'm about to really lose it, which I felt like I have a prescription.
He's Dr. Nick.
I don't know who's Dr. Nick.
From The Simpsons, the guy who's going, I've got a pill, it's gonna make you feel better. It's like, hi, Dr. Nick. Like,
yes,
he's Dr. Nick.
Yes. Literally, every time I talk to him, I was
Right.
like be talking about my feelings, but I
Yeah.
forget he's a psychiatrist. So it's his job to
I
offer
tried
me
to do
drugs.
that. I tried to do that once, and no shade.
scared me.
Yeah, it scared me. I've got friends who've done it successfully, done a program that's helped them to calm themselves down and reset themselves. I did it for 10 days, and my wife was like, "We need to do this together. You can't be on the pill."
That's my thing. Like, I know me. I'm a very like addictive personality. So it's like, if I do something and then I'll be like dependent on it, I feel like, oh, I can't function without this, even if it wasn't the case, even if I could function without it. So I didn't even want to start anything.
Yeah.
But like with the amount of attention and the moving around and doing things you start feeling like, oh, like I didn't even drink prior to dropping this album. And like, you start having like a little celebratory drink with your friends.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you went #1, here's a drink. Oh, you did a good job at SNL, here's a drink. Oh, we're finished with this tour leg, let's have a shot. I had to look at myself and I was like, what? You don't drink, what are you doing? But when everything is moving so fast and there's so much anxiety and there's more people to meet and more people to talk to, and I looked at myself and I'm like, oh shit. And I started having like weird panic attacks I'd never had before and crying and shit. And just like in spaces that were just, like I'm at a photo shoot for like, Wall Street Journal and I'm crying on set because I'm freaking out about being perceived. And I'm just like, I just can't do it. And then that's when I asked myself, oh, this is that like juncture where people like aren't heard from anymore. When they're like, oh, what happened to her? What happened to this person? Either they like had a mental breakdown or they lashed out at somebody and, once that perception starts and it's like, I don't know, am I a bitch? Am I terrible to work with? Nobody wants to work with me. It gets nervous. I get nervous about that. So it's like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to disappear. But that is the stage that I'm in right now where I'm so concerned about like, what does all of this actually mean? How do people view me? How do people see me? What do they expect from me? Can I just disappear and not talk to anybody? Is that ungrateful? Do I appear ungrateful because I have anxiety and I'm like stressed about my reality? So many things. So saying that to say, if I just focus like me restarting my 40-day sadhana and like prayer, and I cut my circle down really small. It's really just like my homegirl that's been my homegirl for 20 years. I see my mama when she can. I see my dad when she can. I kick it with my dogs, my niece, a couple, like my actual animal dogs.
Yeah.
Not like my homies, but like we keep it light. And I feel like that's the answer. Quiet and like less.
I just want to thank you for being so honest about that because I'm kind of obsessed. I've been doing this a long time. And I've
You seem very comfortable.
I'm comfortable. I hope you're getting comfortable. I mean, for me, it's.
I'm falling apart. I'm like trying not to cry. I'm sorry.
Well, this is straight vodka, so cheers. No, how
Is
about
it?
No.
Oh, I was way too grateful for it to be that.
I'm just grateful that you're taking the time to be straight and honest about it because I think you're right. I think it's easier for us to perceive people as being who we want them to be, We absorb our favorite people. They give us this beautiful joy in life, music, art, great performances in athletics or intellectual things to think about, great literature, whatever. People that inspire us, add value to our life. And we have to remember that you're still developing your tools, right? That's what you're saying, like still building your ability to actually.
My toolbox for sure. I'm just now putting things in my toolbox. Before
Yeah.
it was like the way that I was born and the way that I was enough. Because it got me so far. Like I could will anything into my
But it's thrashy, right?
existence.
It's thrashy. One day it's all working and the next day it's all falling apart.
And that's why you have to build a real foundation.
Yeah, that's right.
And stop that winging it shit.
That's
But
right.
winging it really got me so far.
Oh, and when you're young, it's kind of what you should be doing. I mean,
I know.
that's where the experimentation and that works, that doesn't.
It's not sustainable at all.
Yeah.
And it really I'm just realizing that. And I want to, but in all ways, I want to be a sustainable person. Like my relationships, the way I think, because I know that even with the way I make my music, I want to start really not overthinking it and making it this thing. I hate going to the studio because it's like a dungeon.
It just doesn't sound like that. Honestly, I've got to say, as a fan, it sounds like it's a place of joy because the way that you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to kill that for anyone, genuinely.
That's the best response to that statement ever. I'm sorry that you feel that way. It's not.
No, I probably sound miserable. I'm so not miserable. I'm actually having a great time.
Yeah,
but I'm
well-
actually I have a lot of anxiety, and it's not for fake.
Yeah.
But when I go to the studio, I think about like, damn, I have to do a good job. I have to come out of here with something. If I'm in the studio for 8 hours,
Yeah.
and I don't leave with anything that I can listen to in the car on the way home,
Yeah.
then it makes me feel like, fuck.
Real. I mean, every time I've ever gone to a recording studio, if I don't leave with the bounce that day, I'm probably never going back to the song ever again.
That's factual.
You know.
No, that's factual. Or if I leave with a bounce and it's a whack bounce,
Yeah.
and it's too far from fixable,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, we're done with this beat.
Yeah, I call it the 30-minute test because when I was living in London, it was always about 30 minutes from the studio to where I lived or wherever I was going. And if it didn't resonate in 30 minutes, I could have been so in love with it
30 is a
all
long
day.
time.
But if I put it in the car, and if by the end of 30 minutes, I'm like, nope, I'm like, okay, it's done.
You got about like 30 seconds with me from when the vocals start.
Yeah.
The beat starts, and then 30 seconds after the vocals, I know.
So you were incredibly hard on your vocal performance.
Yeah, because it's the energy behind it, not the actual vocal performance, but it's the energy behind it.
Yes.
The energy doesn't sound right or isn't aligned with, I don't know, like the feeling that I'm trying to convey. Then.
And how do you reconnect yourself to the performance you just did during the day? When you're listening back to it, how do you actually rediscover that feeling? Because now it's really in a performative environment.
I just know it feels right. Like if I make a scratch to something, and then I end up using scratch. Kill Bill's scratch vocals, and I hate that.
Yeah, because you
But at
couldn't
the
get it
same
again.
time,
You couldn't get back.
I could not. I tried.
Yeah, that's because you weren't thinking about. Probably you're in this beautiful subconscious state of just expression, and boom, there it is.
Every song that ended up being like popular is always a song that was a palate cleanser beat.
It almost sounds like a scratch because you come in so offbeat. Like
I
it's
know.
on beat, but it's offbeat. It's like not a normal place to start the song. It's almost like,
like
oh
I'm
shit, I'm
talking.
recording. Yeah.
It was the most ridiculous. Like I always say that it's like funny, but the songs that I put the least amount of effort into and that I care the least about are the songs that people are always like, wow.
Isn't it
that's
not
the
about
one.
not caring though? Isn't it more just about getting out of your own sense of self-awareness, which is clearly what you like. I speak this from experience. I'm not judging because I'm the same. When I'm less self-aware about my experience in the moment is when I'm actually at my best.
It's literally every time it's a fucking palate cleanser beat. I'm like, just put on anything real quick. Like I'll be working on something I care about so much that's so serious, and I'm like, oh, just put on anything random. I just need like 10 minutes to just like hear something else. And that's what I'll write a whole damn song to. It'll be I Hate You or Blind or Kill Bill or The Weeknd. All those songs were palate cleanser moments in between me actually trying to make the real song of that night. Like, it's so silly. Supermodel 2, another palate cleanser in between what I was trying to make I thought was so important.
And is there anything on SOS that you look back on it now that wasn't that you really had to sort of grind through and get into shape and you stuck by?
Yeah, F2F probably.
Yeah.
But not that. The grind through with that was trying to make it not corny. But I feel like live is when I feel like it's the least corny.
Snaps live. I mean, I love it on the record too, but
I
live,
enjoy it live a lot more.
It really steps up live.
I honestly, if I could redo the production and simplify it to what it is on stage.
You think you overcooked it a bit on the album?
I added there's like too many sounds. And then it's like the mix is funky, and then my voice is like battling with the instruments, and it sounds like thin, like cheap. I don't like that. So I feel like live, it doesn't sound cheap anymore. So I just want to expense it up a little bit or something in some way. It just has more color, more texture, more.
But aren't we doing a deluxe? I mean, by we, I mean as fans, aren't we getting a deluxe?
Oh, baby, that deluxe is so far from the original album. It's just like a whole nother thing. I could honestly go in and change F2F to make it, that girl.
If it's bugging you.
It really is. I can't front. But
from your perspective, I mean, if you're going around again, I mean, otherwise you might as well release a whole other second album. Tell us what you can, because we've been looking forward to it for a while.
Really? The deluxe?
Yeah. I feel like we've known about it for a while.
Hell nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, no.
Only a few months they should be waiting on that.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. I did speak about it early.
You did speak about it.
6 months.
It's been 6 months. I'm not trying to do the timeline or anything, but like.
You know what happened to me?
What?
I started wanting to I felt different. And it's fucked up because this astrologer lady told me oh, when you release this album, you're not gonna connect to any of it anymore and you'll feel different. So be careful. Don't like, don't tie anything else to it because, like, you're not going to connect to it anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. When I tell you, I literally do not connect to my album at all anymore. And then in the realm of, like, something shifted in my mind where it was like, I've talked about every relationship in the realm from that perspective. I'm not feeling that way anymore. I don't look at my relationships that way anymore. I want to be different in general. Like, my nervous system is shot. My cortisol levels are shot. I want to be calm. I want to be calmed by sounds, by energy. I want to activate my parasympathetic nervous system, like how I feel when I listen to Cleo Soul. I want to feel like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that making music from that space, from a whole space, and then also I stopped trying to like find the most like hurtful thing that I could say about myself or like about my process or my feeling process. I stopped trying to like put that in there. I just started just making shit in terms of like whatever it is. It's changing. Something is changing in my music, and I'm noticing that
So
because
SOS
something
was
is
a
changing in
purge.
me.
It was a purge.
For sure. Everything changed after that. Like my whole brain, and something about releasing all of that.
Yeah.
It was like 5 years of like uncertainty, turmoil, chaos, wondering if I'm good enough, wondering if I should even still be in music. Cause like, you know, people tell you every month when you haven't put out music in 5 years, like, oh, we forgot about you. We don't care about you. We have this person now, we don't need you anymore, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you believe them. Because also like, I don't know, some people choose music as a career and they feel very certain about what they're doing and like why they're doing it. But I was never quite certain. And I really only did music to prove a point. You know, like, I'm always proving a point. That's the reason.
Who were you proving a point to at that moment in time?
When I started making music,
Yeah.
it was to my ex-fiance because
Right.
he was paying for everything.
Right.
And like, but like my food, my clothes, where I lived, and he was like 8 years my senior. So I was so codependent. And he was so talented, and like he's a designer and so brilliant. His ex-girlfriends were all lawyers and like business women and artists. I went to RISD and like all these things, right? And you know, I'm college dropout. I'm still bartending at the strip club. So it's giving, like I felt like I lacked value. So when I started trying to make music, it was like this thing that I didn't have to try at, that I was like randomly good at because I've always written poetry and always like felt emotional. So when I tried to do that, it was like, and then all the kids in my school, like went to Ivy League schools and have all these great lives and do all this cool shit. Cause if you look at like Columbia High School, all the kids are really like, they be doing shit with their life, and it's so random. You know, I didn't go to GW. I didn't do all those things that the kids from my little suburban town did. And I felt like, damn, what the fuck? So the music thing was like, oh, like, all right.
I can do that.
It was that. It was like, oh, y'all like this? Okay, I'll do a little more. And then I was like, oh, y'all like that? Okay, I'll give you a little more. And it became this thing, and I was like, oh, am I good at this? Like, but then how do I get better at this? Because like, that's the thing.
That's the thing, right? When you discover something that speaks to you and you're like, maybe this is where my identity should rest, but then I'm not quite sure how
I don't play any instruments.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I build it?
I don't play any instruments. I didn't grow up singing in church. Yeah. I don't have any formal singing training. Yeah. I've never worked with a writer, so I don't know how to do that. I don't know anything about song structure or music theory. Most of my beats I stole off YouTube. Like all these things. I don't know any producers. Like all these things in my brain where I'm just like, what? But I did have taste though.
Yeah.
Taste is important.
It's one of the most important things.
It took me really far.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you can have all the skill set in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it in a way that's unique and tasteful and captures people's curiosity, then it's a discipline. Discipline's important, but taste is crucial.
I lack discipline. Taste is crucial. Taste is the only thing that saved me because I don't have discipline or work ethic or any of that other shit.
But wasn't it the iPod? Was it the iPod? Was the iPod the thing that didn't you nick an iPod? Didn't you like swipe?
Yeah, in college.
Yeah.
I stole it, but I didn't.
Was that
really
your
steal
taste
it.
exercise?
Out of high school. Well, no, not even that. My taste, I feel like I have taste in all things.
Yeah.
Like in art, in experiences. Like I know a spot. I don't care where we are on the globe. I'm gonna find a spot and it's gonna hit. Ask anybody on my team. We could be driving down a dirt road in the middle of Dublin. I saw a waterfall off to the left. real quick that y'all didn't see. I don't know what it is. It's like, I think it's my addiction to beauty. Like, and not in the traditional sense, but like, I literally chase, I'm so enthralled just like with gorgeous energy.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it. I love being lost in the scene. I gotta get in it, touch it, feel it, have to. And that addiction to beauty makes me chase it everywhere I go, but it has to be in a real way. So like animals, children, nature, experiences. I want to go fast.
The intangible as well. The things you can't actually like. There's no construct of value in those things that we can create. They are just totally intangible to me. Like
Yeah.
like my love for my kids is just like I can't put that into a framework.
Yeah.
Like it's the beautiful thing I don't really want to understand.
And you chase that feeling of like, this is so like insurmountable. This is so beautiful, so big. And like that feeling of those moments, it's like everything, the possibility is like just on the edge all the time. Like
It must be a really emotional experience for you though, because I get very emotional.
Yeah, I cry all the time from beautiful things.
Yeah.
Literally, I was just crying last night just thinking about playing St. Louis soon and how like, you know, a lot of my family members are, you know, dead in St. Louis. And my grandma being my number one. And I haven't played St. Louis since she came to my show the last time.
Yeah.
And I was like getting so emotional and I was realizing like, it's really the love that I have and all this like powerful love that is like tangible and like palpable, but it doesn't go anywhere. Like she's not here, but I have all this energy, these feelings, this like addiction to her like love and energy and her beauty and her like her humor and her laughter. And I feel all these things so strongly. And I feel like that love that you have for your children, I feel like is the same. I feel that with the love of everyone in my life, with my mom, with my friends, with my niece, it's so strong in me. Like love in general. I think
the purpose.
I think that's who I am.
It's the purpose. I think it's to be loved. It's to feel loved and to be able to love.
Yeah.
Is the reason.
And I feel that way with at my show. It's literally why I'm doing it. Like the connection, I hate being famous. It sucks. I hate scrutiny. I hate being perceived. I love connecting with people in the crowd when like, I feel like it's really me and you right now. And I go eye to eye with so many people during this show. And it's like, it's something about tour that it makes the love like real and tangible. Like when I talk to y'all on DM and we talk about your life, or when we're like kikiing or whatever in the comments and it's positive and it's whatever and we're making jokes, or when I get to meet y'all after the show and we do the whole sheboygan and we talk about your sign, your boyfriend, your troubles, all those things, or I see you releasing things at the show and just losing yourself, that's real, that's love, that's tangible.
It's tangible.
And I feel like that is more of like, I don't know, I feel like that makes sense to me. That's what makes me want to like, when I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, how can I shoot my love to the back of this arena real quick? Because there's people back there that I can't see, but I gotta get the love to them because they're giving the love to me.
Yeah. So
then like I look to the back and I'd be like, I don't know, I imagine my energy shooting to the back of whatever the space is. But I really, I don't know. Love is the story. Love is the story right now for me, I'm realizing.
It's the story. You said something super inspiring recently, or maybe it was ages ago, I don't know. I just picked up a quote somewhere along the way and it stuck with me, which was, if I don't want to bore myself, I have to bear myself completely.
Yeah.
I love that so much. It's so bang on, because it's like, man, we just get in this loop in life where we keep saying the same things because they're comfortable, and it's like, wait a minute, like that is boring.
No, it is.
It is boring. But to do that, you have to cross the threshold from being unbridled with your expression to actually having the courage to release it. What is that feeling like? Let's just wrap up SOS and this purge and then we can move on. But what is that feeling like of those words in you before you actually let them go and then they no longer have control over you? Do you know what I mean? Is there any time that you spend with those thoughts before they just become a song or become a poem? Or?
I'm always discovering when I hear it back, because I freestyle everything. So it's
Everything.
Like, pretty much.
Yeah.
Blind and Joni, I did not freestyle. I wrote, but it was also like, I can't explain it. Like, I'm already on the mic with this in front, and I'll start with a couple sentences, and then I'll be like, I can't explain it. It's like my thumbs could not move fast enough. Like, coming from just like my brain or something from somewhere. It's like stream of consciousness, like just jabbering. And so then I'll write that, and then I'll try to sing it on the mic, and then we'll just see how that feels. But mostly, so like while I'm writing it, I can't process it. I don't know what it means yet. It's like, I don't know, like channel drawing or some shit. You know what I mean? Like when it's just like your hand's just doing it, but you're not quite sure what's gonna come out on the paper.
Most people who are in the arts wait for a moment like that. You seem to be able to tap into it. Like that,
unfortunately, it's the only form of creation I know how to do. I actually am trying to learn how to do the intentional kind, where it's like...
Why, for self-preservation or just for curiosity?
Both.
Yeah.
I wanna, I don't like that I can't do it. And I don't like that I can't do what I do on command. So that's what I'm trying to learn right now. Like to will it to happen in the moment. But it's such like a creative thing. You have to wait for it. You have to surrender. You have to allow it. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and there's no guarantees. I mean, people like that fascinate me, who can get to a place of pure feeling, purity of thought and expression, or performance, anything of that nature, and be able to turn it on more often than not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can do that, but it's not in the sense that...
Like Serena didn't hit every match winner, but she hit more than most when it counted.
You think she was being free, or you think that was skill?
Both. But I think when you rise up, look, if you're going to be the person that's going to get the ball in the last 2 seconds, just put it through a sporting analogy, right? Because it's really easy to do.
Yeah.
And you know that you want that ball, you figure you can turn it on. And if it doesn't work for you, okay, maybe it was complicated and there was something that was blurring the lines, but you know you can turn it on. It's just not every time.
In some spaces, yeah. I'm learning that I can turn it on stage.
Yeah.
But even that is not a guarantee. It's like I'm willing it past it. Every night before in the first leg and the second leg, it was like, I don't know what the show gonna be like. We're gonna pray and we're gonna hope that it's gonna be like something. But this leg, it's like, I'm deciding. I don't have a choice. This is Jersey. This is my hometown. I'm not going outside in Jersey. Or this is, you know what I mean, like X, Y, and Z. But in the studio, I can only give a fuck if it speaks to me. I can't explain it. Like if the beat talks to me and just like commands something out of me, and it's like, oh, load it up right now.
What about your relationships in the studio? I feel like artists, the real collaborations are the ones that come from the real places. It's not like a trade necessarily, like, oh, I just want you on this song, da 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 da. There has to be something there where it's like, okay, there's a value beyond just showing up on my record or whatever.
Yeah.
And the real ones last like that. And I feel like that's how you move as well. I don't feel like you can work with people unless there's something.
Oh, yeah. There's people that I'm friends with that I haven't made music with. I mean, me and Drake just made music for the first time. We've known each other since 2009.
Yeah.
We've never made a single song together.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't time. It wasn't time. It didn't make sense. For me, not in that realm of like, I'm anxious, I'm scared, and I was really intimidated on top of that, and just like...
Previously, but not this time. You felt like, okay, yeah.
It was just like, fuck it. I'm in a space now with fuck it, with everything on the creative side. The business side is scary, but on the creative side, it's kind of just like, nah, I don't have any more goals. So I might as well just try at this point.
When you say you don't have any more goals, you mean you've caught up to where you would ever hoped you could get, and now everything on top of this is unknown? Is that kind of what you mean?
I caught up to that on control.
Wow.
I don't have any more goals, and that sounds terrible. But career-wise, it's just like, I keep saying that. Nobody believes me, but it's just like, you don't understand these are my goals. I've gone platinum. I didn't think I'd ever go platinum. I sold a bunch of records. I got to meet Stevie Wonder. I got to meet Beyonce and work with her. I got to meet Frank Ocean. My mom came and my dad came to all these cool countries to see me perform. I've had sold-out shows. I got to headline a festival. Like, what else do I want? I've been nominated for Grammys. I won a Grammy. I'm done, for me, personally. So anything past... This is so much more than I wanted, thought of, dreamed
isn't it
of.
freeing? Like now you know that you don't have to set that bar of expectation for yourself to some degree that you set as a young person trying to figure it out.
Well, I never did it for the bar. I did it for respect. So for me, that bar, like the accolades are cool, but I was really just doing it for respect, to show that, no, I'm smart. Because I didn't finish school. I didn't get to like prove that point, to have like, oh, I have like all these crazy degrees, like I'm smart. So it's like, no. Me writing is me letting you know I'm smart. But that's a personal goal. And letting my mom know, letting people know that I'm an intelligent person. Or being like, or that I can write my own lyrics, or that I can make a certain style of song because that's the goal that I wanted to achieve. Like, to show that I can work my brain that way. Like, or that I wasn't like, I didn't need a bunch of writers, or the respect was more important to me than the accolade.
Success. Yeah.
Like that is a success.
Yeah.
To be respected amongst my peers, for like who I am. Not like on some, oh, you're respected because you sold mad records.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real to me. And I feel like people knowing like, nah, that bitch is cold because she write all her own shit. She pick all her own shit. She designed the way her show goes. That's why I'm cold. Not because
directs some videos.
I went number one.
Yeah.
That's because I have ideas. I have ideas and I'm comfortable like getting them out, and I feel like they're interesting. And I feel like that's something that I really had to understand. But now past that, I don't have anything. But that's the whole combative approach to life is what has to change. And that's why I don't connect to SOS anymore. Like, everything is not a fucking battle. I don't have to prove a point all the time. Sometimes you can just make things because you feel like it.
And is that what's been happening with the Deluxe, with the new songs? Has it felt more free?
I'm just making shit because I feel like it, or because it's what I want, like because it's healing, or because it's beautiful, or because it's just different. Or even the verses, the features that I've been doing since my album have been so freeing for me. Because it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, if you ask me like, oh, come on some toxic shit, okay. I'll talk my shit. Or, oh, come on some melodic shit. Or just the little Shake That Ass song with Sexy Red. It's like, I just wanted to sing something that sounds like Jersey house vibes. Like the dancing and house cleaning on the weekend. Like, but that's the first time that I got comfortable even almost mumbling on a track. I would never do that prior, because it's like, it's too dangerous. You mumble on the track too soon, and people think that that's who you are, in my mind. And as a woman that's constantly as a Black woman that's constantly being discredited for less, like for reasons that aren't real, it's like, I always feel like there's that feeling of like, I don't have the luxury. Like, I don't have the luxury to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I will not be mumbling. But it's like, I wanna mumble and have fun. Like, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to just like emote on the track?
Yeah.
And I feel like, now I'm in that space where it's like, nah, it's not about achieving, improving, and fighting and doing all these things.
Or being that artist that speaks on those terms to an audience that wants you to be that, right?
Do they want me to be that?
No, that's my point. Last night, it wasn't like that. No one was sitting there. It was the furthest thing from a toxic environment at a concert you can imagine.
I love that.
It was so not that. It was freeing, and everybody was expressing themselves through the music with joy.
Love that.
Even some of the really gnarly shit.
I love that. That's what I want. What I noticed, first of all, not to be like disrespectful, but I really feel like I have like the best, like the coolest fans. Like, they're just so.
Last night they didn't want to watch a show. We wanted to be the show. Like, we all wanted to be
Y'all are
in
the
it.
show.
Yeah, but it's not often that way. Often you're watching a show. I mean, often you are watching a performance and you're searching for a way in. It's not as easy. Last night, everybody, I felt like, was already on the stage before you even got on there.
Yeah.
And if they're not, they're on the stage doing it themselves and trying to capture their own performance. It's super inspiring to see.
They're so vibrant.
Yeah.
Like, these are my people type shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you are in a space, it's so weird, because it's like, it usually takes you so long to find like your tribe per se, because you're really not supposed to be attracting millions of people that are on like vibration at a time. Because it's like, what is that? That's so strange. But
it's pretty far from the common realm of understanding, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just strange, because then it creates in your mind, it's like, okay, is this my tribe? And it's like, yeah, no, definitely. Like,
well, energy is so transferable as well, that being in a situation where you're absorbing that much energy in one environment, and then you're giving
No, we're
and
transmuting the whole
receiving
time.
the
It's a
whole
vibe.
time.
It's like there. It's just like a bit. It's like a circle.
Yeah.
They pour, I pour. They pour, I pour, and it's so like I can feel the battery like being charged like while it's happening.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I don't know. I wish I was more settled in my experience so I could have one of those really like famous, like witty, calm, well-spoken Zane Lowe interviews. It's fine. It's like I gotta get them Kanye sound bites out my system. Ask me something terrible.
No, it's not my game. It's not how I play.
Come on.
I don't go in with that game
joking,
plan,
I'm
with that
joking.
playbook. I write it out. I do want to talk to you though a little bit about relationships and what you want from them now that you're coming out of this era, this SOS era where you've been so transparent and honest about accountability, not just your own, not just others, but your own.
Yeah.
And then it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I sort of wonder, like, how high on that list of priorities for you is it now to kind of redefine your concept of what makes a healthy relationship actually work for you?
It's so high. My biggest priority now is being like an emotionally regulated person with healthy relationships. And like, I pray to be slower to anger. Like I literally pray and be like, oh, I might be slower to anger. I might be calm, like filled with loving kindness. Like I want to be a good person so badly, and not in like the idea of what a good person is. I want to be honest enough to create boundaries, healthy boundaries, and be like, I want to be honest enough to say no. That's good person shit. Like being able to be like, I don't want to do this right now. I'm sorry, but we can do it another time, or blah, blah, blah. I was so obsessed with codependency that it was like ruining my relationships because they weren't real. Like I was just saying yeah to everything all the time, and then I would get mad later on, or I would put myself in a situation where I would be so like open, and I think everybody's being open with me, but it's like you have to like really, like boundaries is how you create healthy, genuine, real relationships.
Yeah, that's how you get to know yourself as well.
For real though. And it's like that whole idea of in relationships, communication, disagreeing, and like really listening to someone and allowing yourself to accept what they're saying without giving it meaning based on your previous experiences or how you feel about yourself. And like giving all these, it's so hard, but it's like, it really is so hard. But for me, anyway, I can't speak for anybody else. But that's like my number one goal. Music is dope right now. I'm really just trying to be a better person. Like I really I want to work on because it's bitterness and anger and frustration and a lack of acceptance can make you sick. And I'm noticing that, right? And as I get older, I'm thinking. And I'm
That
like,
is absolutely for real.
it can make you sick. It can age you, all these things.
Yeah, because the body and the mind are so intrinsically linked. I've had aches and pains for years that I had to figure out mentally and emotionally,
angry?
spiritually. Just stuff I hadn't processed. It was being stored here because I didn't have the ability to get it over here.
I'm noticing things. Like I had an acupuncture thing on my ear, right? And he hit that lung point. You store grief and sadness in your lungs. I cried like a fucking baby. I didn't even know I had all that grief and sadness.
Yeah.
That also opened things up for me. I'm like, whoa, there's mad unprocessed like stuff that I really have to work through. And I want to be like a present person. I don't want to run from my life, run from it by smoking so much weed, or run from it by doom scrolling on the internet, or run from it by hanging out with people that I don't even know very well, but we're just like in the mix now because there's a lot going on and I'm just like trying to have a good time, because to stop and think about what's happening is scary. Then I have to think about who are you for real? And what are you doing here? And what do you want from me? And all these things, but I don't have to think about that if we just keep going. If everything just keeps in the moment. And
It'll catch up to you later though.
oh yeah, it's catchy. And that's why I'm sitting down now and I'm really realizing and being grateful and loving on people that love me is so important.
It's so important that you identify what that means to you, because love is everywhere around you.
Yeah.
Love is a funny thing. It's a word that we throw around a lot, but really it's only in its most powerful, right? When we truly identify what love means to us, like how we translate all of that and figure all that out.
Literally. I had to decide what, even in my friendships, like what is my friend's love language? Like, my best friend is also my manager, and that creates tension in our relationship. And like, this is my sister, so this is somebody that I cannot have tension with you, because if we have tension, I'm not right. Like, my whole day not right, because like, I'm you, you are me. So it's like, us building communication as like growing Black women, like we met each other when we were 16, 17, and you know, now we're like really trying to talk through things of like, hey, I respect you, and when I hear things this way, this was what I got from that. I'm not sure if you intended that. And it'd be like, oh no, it seems like it's doing too much, and it's like,
No.
But I love over communicating. That's my new shit.
Yeah, that's called the work.
That's my new shit.
It's
Over
really
communicating and really speaking my fucking mind, and like really trying to get in that space of nonviolent communication, trying to in the sense of like, you know, nonviolent communication, not saying can't, won't, have to.
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Yeah.
So
Ego-driven, reaction-based comms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. Like, what did you say?
Yeah, I'm trying to check. I have a problem. I'm trying to check my reactions to everything.
It feels to me like you recognize that the real quality out of all of this experience is going to be the growth, the personal growth.
Yeah.
You know, how you end up kind of addressing your life and moving forward with purpose, rather than just being swept up in I'm hot shit, like I'm a big deal. Like, that's not gonna,
I don't even feel like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like that's the most important side of it. How does that make you feel about the arts, about making music, knowing that that is the priority and not following anything or trying to be more successful than the last thing? Because it doesn't sound like those things matter to you.
You know, on the upside, I never really gave a fuck. That's really cool. I'm grateful for that. And in hindsight, I never really, I never thought I was making something for, I don't know, I didn't know how to. So because I was a novice from RIP, everything has been like, oh, this is a radio song, I guess. Like, I don't have no radio previously. So it's like, thankfully, I've always been free in that regard. And the songs that are popular are always the songs that I didn't know were gonna get popular. So it's like, if anything, it's that point proving shit. Like, when I'm like, I wanna prove that I can rap. I wanna prove that I'm aggressive. I wanna prove that I'm, you know, like, I wanna show this side of me. I'm not no punk, like these little things. But this is, it's the creating from a pointless place. And that's gonna be beautiful.